Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And hey, this is the holiday season. Everybody has a heart. I mean, we got Thanksgiving and we got Christmas. I mean, everybody needs a heart. And we have a young man here. It's Dr. Donald Downing. You know who brought him in? Dr. Eugene Williams. I mean, he continued to bring outstanding guests. And Dr. Downing, he has written a number of books, and the one that impressed me, and that's because this is a holiday season and everybody has to have a heart. Welcome to the Ed Brown Show, Dr. Williams. Tell us about this young man that you have here.
It's so good to be here, Ed. It's so good to be here sitting next to my friend. I have known him now for about 7 to 10 years.
Wow.
We met some time ago when he was running around with his book, Hidden Treasures of the Heart.
Yes.
I read Hidden Treasures of the Heart, and I was so moved. And I said to him, Ed, I said, if you would give me a copy of Hidden Treasures to the Heart, I'll give you a copy of Grounded in the Word.
So exchange it.
Yeah. So we've been all over the country talking about our books. He's a fantastic gentleman. He has written more than 50 books. How many people do we know in this area, throughout the United States, who has written 50 books?
Right.
I said to him jokingly one day, I said, brother, you are writing all those books. We've got to find a way to let the world know about your books. And he readily responded in a very, very positive way. He said, well, Dr. Williams, whatever it is that the Lord wants done, let it be done. So today we sit here with him. He's always smiling and he's always sharing. And so he's going to share today with us. He's going to talk to us about the heart. He's going to talk to us about other issues as well. He's a man of many words. Bishop Donald Downing.
Tell us a little bit about it, Dr. Downing. How do you get involved with something? What inspired you?
When you see, I mean, a lot of times we don't look to see what we need to see when we need to see it. So when you look and see the needs of the people, the needs of the family, the needs of society, the needs of government, as the Bible says, that of writing a book there can be no end. So when you see these things and people, they want to do better, they want to do the right things, they really do. They don't want wrong in their lives, but they just don't know how. So when you understand that that when you write something that they can read and which is wrong in their lives, then you know that it's your responsibility. Like the great Ed Brown Show, you're here, and you're doing a wonderful job. I mean, I'm just amazed how you're doing all these things in your life at your young age.
Thank you.
But you're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose, to fulfill your purpose. And actually, our purpose is really the same. We just take different paths to get to it. But the bottom line is to have our youth have the knowledge they need.
Right.
Knowledge is power.
Yes.
The Bible, Hosea 6:5 talks about how that my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Well, when you got a book, you got something to read to gain right. But somebody has to write the book.
Right.
Ed Brown, you go to the hospital, you see books, colleges, books, government, books. But who's reading them to get understanding? But somebody wrote it. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So now, but if it wasn't written, there's a story that I always tell Dr. Brown, is that when the devil took Jesus upon a mountain and said, "That be the Son of God, turn these stones into a bread." Jesus said, "It is written." It is written. Jesus came as it was written of him. He performed as it was written of him. He's gone away as it was written of him. and he's coming back. But he told him to write it in a book. But if it wasn't written, Dr. Brown, what if it wasn't written? What if the Bible wasn't written? So, since the Bible is a written book, you follow me?
Yeah.
And we need books to be written, historical, of our national origin of the black race. I just wish that our forefathers could have written books on top of books about everything that we could read today.
Reference.
You know, references.
Yeah.
I can go to the library and I can find about, you know, what this black brother, Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King didn't write enough books. You can speak a word, it may last a month or so, but if you put it in writing, it can last for 50 years. So that's my inspiration, is to write information, education, knowledge, understanding, instructions that people may know. Because once I know, then I've got a choice. But if I don't know, then I don't have a choice.
Well, how did you come up with this book? I was talking about displays and how impressed I am with a heart and a diamond. Tell us a little bit. What inspired you to write
This
that?
book, Marriage from the Heart, when I looked at the divorce rate among people, not, and I know that divorce is not God's will, and how that the families are being torn apart by this thing called divorce. And the heart is the key. You follow? Marriage got to be from the heart. The problem with marriage is that people are not keeping their mates in their heart. If you don't keep them here, you're not going to keep them anywhere else. It's not the wedding band, it's not the marriage vows, but it's who's in your heart. Keep them in your heart. So I talk about that. I talk about marriage from the heart, how that walking down, you don't get married on your wedding day. People think they got married last Sunday. No, you got to be married before you walk down the aisle. Whom God has joined together. And he don't wait until the wedding day to join you together. You follow me?
Yes.
Well, once whom he joined together, let no man put asunder. But if the heart is deceitful above all things, as the Bible says, and desperately wicked, who can know it? So we need to know the heart of the one we're getting married to. So many times people have gotten married and they've come to me and they've been only married a few months. They're not talking to each other. They're not getting along.
Already, huh?
Already, after 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months.
You follow me?
Right.
Because the man looks on their outward appearance, but God looks where?
At the heart.
At the heart. So love got to come from where?
The heart.
Faith got to come from where?
The heart.
Peace, joy. Everything we have of life is heart-driven. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, see, we have an advantage when you study and you learn. You have an advantage. Knowledge is above color of skin.
Yes.
See, man looks on their outward appearance, but God looks at the what? Heart. Now, why does God look at the heart and we don't? Brother, that's why I designed this cover with the heart, so people can, first thing they see is that the heart is the important thing. And the ring that goes on the finger has what it emphasizes is what's got to be in the heart.
Right.
We go down and we have the wedding vows. You know, I'll take this woman to be that's wedded wife, and we say I do to love forever. But that's got to be in the heart, Brother Ed. And the ring represents on the finger. It doesn't do any good if it's not like a ring in the heart.
In the heart, right.
See, all the wedding vows is implemented.
All the gifts.
Yes, is implemented from a heart perspective.
Right.
That's why the book is called Marriage from the Heart. And so in designing this book cover, that's what I wanted people to see. First thing they need to see is it's about the heart.
Well, this is a great season for that with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. Very timely. Just tell us things that inspire you and subjects inspire you. You wrote so many books. What was Dr. Williams said, 52 or 32? What inspired? usually a person that have difficulty writing one book, and here you have X number of books.
It's what we set our heart to do. We set our heart to it. Then it becomes easier to do once the heart is set. I set my heart to writing and reading and writing because I felt that the preaching and teaching was good, but the people in my church, it seemed like a month later, they done forgotten everything. So I said, well, we need to put this in writing. So I set my heart to writing. And it took me about 3 or 4 years before I became that which I set my heart to. It's like a football player. He set his heart to play football. You follow? But it takes him a while to become a football player. So that's what happened with my writing and how I became a writer, is I kept my heart set to it. So once my heart was set, God responded.
Good.
And he began to give me titles and concepts, especially of his own heart. He said, look at the apostles' hearts. Look at David's heart. You follow me? He said, most of all, look at your own heart. So I had to get my heart together.
Well, Bishop, you know, we evolutionary elders,
Yes.
we like to develop a positive relationship with young people. Have you done anything for young people? Or what would you say to young people about the heart? What is the heart message to the youth out there?
Really, as a matter of fact, the issue is if the parents don't know the heart, they don't teach it to the children. You follow me? And that is just so important. That the children learn the heart at a young age. How to guard their heart, how to guide their heart, how to not let the thoughts and imagination of their mind dictate the concepts of the heart. See, what the heart does, the heart and the mind is connected. The contents of the heart determines the thoughts and imaginations of the mind. So the mind, we know, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But the mind is so important because we couldn't be here today if we didn't think about it.
Right. So
But-
you're saying basically it starts with the parents.
Yes.
When the
Yes.
child is born and being nurtured by the parent, that's when they not only talk about heart, they show heart.
Yes.
The Bible says, train a child in the way that he
Yes,
should go. So
exactly.
what we think is sending them to school.
Yes.
No, that's not the case. It's love from the infrastructure development as well. Education is wonderful, but the infrastructure learning about, in other words, had I known how to keep my heart from being broken, I would have done that.
Right,
I would
exactly.
have allowed my heart to be broken, to carry me away, you know, in different areas. And I didn't know it was my heart that was doing it. But the contents of our heart determines our walk of life.
You know, the other day I was talking to some young people and talking about the 10 Commandments. They had never heard of the 10 Commandments. They could not recite the 10 Commandments. And
Never heard of it.
Many of their parents could not either. What is going on, Bishop?
Let's just look at our president. The reason I voted for him is not that I agree with him everything, and I don't have to agree. But I saw his heart. His heart was set to do the right thing. His heart was set to be president of the United States. See, we look on the outward appearance, as I said before, but we need to look at the heart of Barack Obama.
Yes, I agree.
The heart of Michelle Obama.
Yes.
If you don't know the heart, you don't know the person.
Thank you.
That's why we're getting so deceptive. Even back when the Indians, they, you know, we'd tell them anything, give them fire water to drink and just tell them anything, because the Indians did not know the heart of the one that they're dealing with. So we got to learn, in other words, I love Ed Brown's heart.
Yes.
I love Dr. Williams' heart.
Right.
Because if I listen just to what his mind is saying and not understand where his heart is, I'm going to miss some things. So I need to know when he's talking to me from his mind or he's talking to me from the heart. Same with our children, especially our children. children need heart information, and parents need that information to give to them. Right now, we're sending them to daycares, we're sending them into schools, but the children is looking to the parents. So by the time the child gets to be 10 or 12 years old, he doesn't have a heart-to-heart relationship with his mother and father. So that's why our problems are coming in. We got to get back to the heart of God, the heart of our children, our own heart. Follow me? That's what we have to do. If we're going to expect a change, there has to be a change of heart. Without a change of heart, there's no change of life.
So, Dr. Williams, you're an educator. How do you go about implementing these things Dr. Downing is talking about? You know, getting the parents to really pass this information on to their child.
I don't know specifically, but I can tell you one thing, Ed, that I have a campaign going on now, and my slogan is, Black Man Read. Black man read.
Read.
Our young boys and girls don't see black men, their fathers, their
Reading.
uncles, reading.
There you
And
go.
what is going on here? I was told the other day by a friend of mine in Oklahoma City that his daughter loves books because he started her out with books. But when the children from his cousin or come over to his house, they tear up books. The children are males. That astonished me. These are all they tear up books. But the little girl reads the book. Obviously, these young boys have not seen men reading, and I say, black man, read. And start with the Bible, because my daddy started me with the Bible. That's how I learned to read. Reading the Bible. And you talk to students this day and time about the Bible, and they look at you like, well, that's not something that I do.
And I'm
Well, how do you stimulate? That's a big problem, and people talk about it. But how do you stimulate parents to get involved?
Well, I don't work with parents that much, and Bishop, you have parents in your church. Maybe.
I really encourage the parents to read.
I would say like in Sunday school and places like that.
Oh, okay.
The teachers, I teach the teachers, and I teach the pastors.
Yeah.
That's what really my ministry is.
Right.
Is really to the leadership is where
Right.
I'm really focused, and my books are really focused for that too. Is that teach the people the importance of reading and writing. See, now, our black community, we respect the church, regardless of what denomination it is. It's not the denomination so much, but if the people will pick up and just read, you follow me? And write. Write things, write it out.
Show example to the child.
To example.
Yeah, see? That's it. If the youngsters don't have an example at home, some parents, they blame the school education.
Yes.
But the education begins at home. You know what I mean? And most parents, they blame the system. It's not the system. It has to be right at home. And the time that the child spends more time with the parents than they do with the teacher.
Yeah.
The child loves the family, will always love the family more than they'll love the school. We don't get that so much, Ed, but that's true. Being with mom and daddy is better than being with the teacher. So mom and daddy must be more, is more important.
Use their influence.
The influence, you follow me?
Yes.
To influence their child, you follow me? More even so than the teacher.
Right, I
Follow
agree,
me?
100%.
Children trust mama and daddy. So somehow we got to get to the parents.
Right.
Parenthood. You don't hear much about parenting that much anymore.
Right.
Back in the 40s and 50s, it was parenting. You could
Right.
do parenthood, parenting, but we have gone away from that. We need to get back to some of the old things and re-implement things that worked. Now we're embarking on a lot of things that I feel no longer really works. You know, and we were scratching our head. What are we going to do? Well, go back and pick up a book from the Revolutionary Elders and back in the 40s and 30s and 20s. These republish some of those books. See, and that people may read and understand. Once you get an understanding, can't nobody take it away from you. You get the right understanding.
And we have to give them the heart. We have to make sure they have the heart to do it, right?
You inspire their heart, because the heart is going to determine. If it's not in your heart, you're not going to do it. See, that's why the Bible says man looks on outward appearance, but God looks at the heart, because He knows that this is the place where everything must happen. Out of the heart, Proverbs 4:23 flows the issues of life. Brother Ed.
But what happens is that the parent, I get back to the parent, they're involved with doing other things, rather than the child's, environment. To make sure that the environment that the child in is in a learning environment, in a reading environment.
Come on.
You can't have a reading environment if you got electronics. If you got an iPad, the idea is that they're away from that. You know what I mean? But the idea is that you have to have the environment.
Yes,
and
sir.
see, if the parent doesn't have the environment where they're not showing, and you don't show a youngster how to do something by telling them.
Yes.
You show them by doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You see, they learn when they see you are doing it. You can't tell a child to do something and you're doing something else. See,
Yes.
that's the key,
Yes.
is the example that parents set for the youngsters is negative.
Yes. But the parents, what do?
Yeah.
They put all the responsibility on the teacher.
On the
That's,
school.
that's not right.
Right.
That's not right.
I agree, and a lot of people don't understand that. And I listen to people, and what happens is that Johnny Jones and the parent, they say, "Have you ever taken a kid swimming? Have
See?
basic things." Basic things. I'm not talking about expensive things. Just being present when a child needs you. That's so very important.
And they certainly don't take them to the library.
No,
like we
right.
used to go to the library. I had to fight up there in Virginia my way into a library in a segregated town.
Right.
And now everything is open.
And they don't use it. They don't use it. That's because the
I say they need to balance the electronics with the reading.
Yeah,
with
because
books.
Right.
Yes. I've got a rap coming out soon, Ed.
Yeah.
It's all about that, reading.
Right.
You got Mr. Barack Obama at the beginning of it, talking about how significant books are.
That's true.
And then we move on into the rap.
Right.
Oh, we're going to bring it on your show. You're going to like it, and your viewers will like it. We've got to get this reading thing going. But I say that a good place to start would be reading the Bible.
Yes. Well, what happens is, like I said, is that how do the church, the family, how do they get together? They know these things are happening, and they know, and some of them have lived it, have come up in an environment where they had daddy was there and mommy was there, and they set a good example. I mean, some of the parents, I was in the 40s and 30s and whatever, they didn't have a BMW, and they didn't have all of these fancy 9-room homes and that type of thing. But one thing they had, they made sure that you got an education. That was one thing. They didn't. A lot of them didn't have a high school education. Some didn't feel. But look at us.
Well, I tell everybody,
we are the product
my
of their
parents,
attention.
Did not graduate from high school. 6th grade maybe they went to.
Third
but
grade.
they could read better than any kid graduating from high school today. Now what is that all about?
And Dr. Williams, you're dealing with that every day.
Yeah, every day, even in college, even in community college where I teach.
Yeah.
They don't want to read.
Right.
They haven't read.
And then you give an assignment. Now, when you give a reading assignment, tell us about that. Now, how do you actually monitor the youngster?
Well, right now I'm giving them a reading assignment. They are reading I Am the Darker Brother, which is a novella written by my son. And I've developed questions, and I pull out all the words that would give them difficulty. I start with that because many times students don't read because they see the words and the words are too difficult for them. But once I explain to them the meanings of all the words, one of the words last week was reverence. They had not heard the word reverence. I said, have you heard reverend? Have you had revere? And we had a good time with that. But once they learned the words, they were ready to read the novella. I am the darker brother.
So what happens with that environment? Do you feel that, and they have a PTA meeting, they have these meetings, they're supposedly preparing the environment for the child and the teacher. Now, what is PTA doing?
I don't know, but I would say to PTA, invite Brother Downing to come and speak, but to speak specifically about the heart. Start with the heart.
Yes, yes.
Would you be willing to do that if someone in school would invite you?
Yes, absolutely. That's my passion, as a matter of fact.
Because what I've seen, I'm observing people on the show, is a PTA. When I was going to school, PTA, I mean, if you did something, hey, everybody in the neighborhood knew about it, your grandmother, grandfather, everybody. I mean, you didn't do it anymore because the communication line, I don't know, what is the PTA doing?
Well, I'm not sure.
Answer that question.
Blaming the teachers, criticizing the teachers.
That's what they're doing. The PTA is criticizing the system, you know what I mean, instead of working with the parents. Hey, this has been Ed Brown. We had Dr. Downing and Dr. Over here that Williams there. And that's a hard. What is your PTA doing? Are they doing their job? You know, most of you come to PTA meeting and complain, but hey, what about participating? Hey, and get your mail out there too, because the kids need to see the male image. This has been Ed Brown. See you next time.